All right. So you know what I did see though, and I wondered if you saw it too. After Arsenal's second goal, they got into a bit of a huddle, and I did see Granit Xhaka talking to them, and that did suggest there might be something that's a bit of leadership, things he'd spotted. Did you see that?
I did see that, and as I said, I mean, he was the captain. Obviously, he's a senior player on that team, so you need to settle things down, and I think that's a good sign. That's something that wasn't forced. I think it was a realization from not just Shaka, but probably from everybody that things aren't working. And look, I mean, look how far this team has gotten, right? I mean, it's almost, I hear things and I listen to some other people saying, well, even if they finish second, it'll be a great season. Of course it will be, but you don't know when this is going to come around and if this chance is going to come around again. So I think they see what's happening here. And oh, by the way, I'm not ruling them out. I really am not. I was really, when it was 2-0 K, I was ready to say, believe it or not, that I think Arsenal is going to see this through. And the reason for that, and I'm maybe less optimistic, the reason for that is, look, I mean, they're going to beat Southampton and they're going to go into the game of truth 7 points ahead and could have been 9. Had it been 9, I don't care if City had 2 games in hand, that's a massive pressure. And I think that would have favored Arsenal. I still think that if Arsenal beats Southampton, I think they go to the Emirates and think to themselves, look, if we don't lose here, we're the champions.
Okay, so we have to still wait until that game to get an answer from you.
Well, I think everybody's going to wait. I don't think you're going to see one normal person do that before you see that game. I've hinted to you, my money is still on Manchester City as it stands. I mean, this is as close as you're going to get. Not that I want to track back, but, my favorites are still Manchester City. That's pretty close, no?
Well, so why are they still your favorites?
Well, because Arsenal are now in a frame of mind, where they were 2 up in 2 games and drew games. They dropped 4 points. I mean, if you look at form, as I told you, right? I mean, look what Manchester City are doing. 10, 11 games straight, 6. I mean, this is the time of the season where Manchester City do that. On top of that, they have a player that's going to score 100 goals this season. I mean, we were laughing. Our very first show, you asked me, I think, if he's going to score 40 goals. I don't remember if this was a season or Premier League season, but I thought you were crazy. And look where we are here. So, of course, Manchester City are my favorites because they've done it before, unlike Arsenal, recent history. I mean, Manchester City has been the best team, over the last 6, 7, 8 years. The confidence beating beating Bayern Munich 3-0 and now probably beating Sheffield United on the weekend. So, yeah, I mean, I have to look at Manchester City as a better team, better squad, more experienced team that ultimately may see this through. So I'm going to come close, but I'll give Arsenal a chance. If they beat Southampton, this is going to be something.
Hang on. You said if they beat Southampton and then they go and take a point at least at the Etihad. So even after the Southampton game, might we get a proper answer from you?
This is my point. They're going to go 7 points if they beat Southampton. If they go to the Etihad and get a point there, Arsenal will win the title.
Okay. Let's talk about...
It's a big game. I mean, look, here I am. So we can, I'm going to say Manchester City going to win it. Just so we get some people going crazy at Janusz. But no, I have zero issues given my opinion who's going to win it because, I can backtrack and this is television, YouTube, whatever you want to call it. But it really isn't. I don't think that anybody can explain to me factually why one or the other is going to win it until we play that game at the Etihad.
Okay, you've said it now, though. So right now, Janusz has said Manchester City are going to win the title. Let's stay with City. I want to talk about them. Erling Haaland, must he start every game until the end of the season now?
Well, he does. I mean, he has been, right? I mean, he's been a clear number 1 choice for now. So I don't see it any different. The difference you and I have talked about is how great Manchester City can be even when he doesn't. So, I mean, that's the beauty. The plan A, plan B, plan C, and, whatever it may be. It's still not just Erling Haaland. It's everybody else around him playing tremendous football at the right time. Everybody's healthy with the exception of Phil Foden. And think about that. When he becomes an option again, when he comes back, and we all know that he can give you such quality from the start or from the bench, and you can trust it. So at this moment, firing on all cylinders. And that's what football is all about, right? Get your team playing and your players playing at the highest level when it matters. Not in the beginning of the season, not in the middle of the season. You can hide some players, and Manchester City have that ability. And that's the beauty of Manchester City, that they can hide 1 or 2 or 3 players when they're not at their best.
It's a demanding fixture list for them. We did see that obviously this was a 3-1 win over Leicester, but I suppose you could still see where there would be some concerns for Pep Guardiola. Do you have any concerns for Man City going forward, and what are they?
I have 0 concerns right now. We saw Leicester City coming into it late, but I mean, he withdrew just about everybody that's important. It doesn't really matter. The 2 players, if he decided to keep just Rodri in and De Bruyne, I mean, Leicester City wouldn't even come close. That's where they lost that little bit of control, because key players were out. And, if you take Grealish out and John Stones, who's been absolutely superb coming back and playing new positions, such an intelligent player, not easy to step into that midfield and all of a sudden play at a level that he does. So I don't have any concerns right now, other than, there could be a game that is going to be an inexplicable game where they drop points simply because they can't finish. That's the only reason I see that. Bayern Munich is going to be still nervous, even at 3-0, but they're going to see that through. And then, I just Sheffield United, I mean, it's important, but not for City, right? I mean, that competition they can deal without, I suppose. But my goodness, you and I, after Manchester City against Arsenal, I'll tell you then for sure who's going to win it.
No, you've told us now. You've said Manchester City.
Right now, Manchester City for me are favorites, no doubt about it. And by the way, as I've said before, it has nothing to do with the necessarily drop points.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.